Tiger Woods is not pleased with players joining LIV Golf. Tiger made some of his toughest remarks against the Saudi-backed venture, claiming Greg Norman has acted in ways that are not in the game's best interest. Also in this video, we'll cover why LIV Golf is the most controversial tournament in the sport right now. Watch this video till the end for the full details. First up, what about LIV Golf? What does it entail? Plans for a league to compete with the PGA Tour were initially mentioned in reports in 2019, but it wasn't until the end of 2021 that the idea really started to take shape. When LIV Golf Investments was established, PIF, the Saudi Arabia Sovereign Wealth Fund, held a majority stake. The PGA Tour has threatened to impose lifelong bans on players who joined the competing league, casting doubt on their ability to compete in future Ryder Cups and major tournaments. Despite this, LIV Golf released a schedule for an 8-event, $225 million, £179 million invitational series. There will be competitions in the future in Saudi Arabia, Thailand, and the US. Which players are involved? Six-time major champion Phil Mickelson is among the notable players, as is the former world number one Dustin Johnson, as well as Ryder Cup legends Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood, and Ian Poulter. Graham McDowell, Martin Kamer, and Louis Oosthuizen, all former major winners, are also taking part. Former world number one player Greg Norman serves as LIV Golf's chief executive off the course. Why is Tiger Woods not playing? According to reports, Tiger Woods turned down a mind-blowingly big invitation to join the series. Speaking to the Washington Post, Norman said the 15-time major champion declined offers of more than $150 million and maybe as much as $1 billion. Next up, why is it controversial? Due to Saudi Arabia's appalling human rights record, Amnesty International UK has accused LIV Golf players of being willing stooges of Saudi sports washing. Jamal Khashoggi, a journalist for the Washington Post, was allegedly killed by order of the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, the PIF's leader. Saudi Arabia announced the mass execution of 81 men in March of this year for terrorism and other offenses, such as having deviant ideas. Additionally, Abdulrahman al-Sadan, a Saudi relief worker, had his 20-year prison term upheld last year for posting humorous tweets criticizing the government. According to Amnesty International, women in Saudi Arabia still experience severe discrimination in matters of marriage, divorce, inheritance, and child custody. What have the players said about Saudi Arabia's human rights record? According to Norman, Saudi Arabia is changing their culture within their nation and downplayed the involvement of Saudi Arabia's government in LIV Golf, stating to Sky Sports News that he does not answer to Saudi Arabia and that the government or MBS were not his superiors. Although McDowell called the death of Jamal Khashoggi reprehensible, he added that they were not politicians, but professional players. He said that if Saudi Arabia wants to use the game of golf as a vehicle for them to get where they want to be, they're pleased to help them on that road. Players have previously participated in tournaments sanctioned by the European Tour in Saudi Arabia, Westwood noted. What other sports have faced criticism over Saudi links? Golf is not the only sport that's been questioned because of its ties to Saudi Arabia. In an agreement worth £300 million, Saudi Arabia's PIF acquired an 80% share in Newcastle United. The Premier League announced the takeover after claiming to have obtained legally binding assurances that the Saudi government would not have control over the football team, which was one of the primary obstacles to a transaction. Lewis Hamilton, a Formula One driver, has previously expressed his discomfort at competing in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix due to worries about the country's human rights record. Also, the choice to hold Andy Ruiz Jr. versus Anthony Joshua for the heavyweight championship of the world in Saudi Arabia in 2019 was also criticized. Next up, Tiger Woods disappointed with players joining LIV Golf. Tiger stated Greg Norman has acted in a way that's not in the best interest of the game, making some of his toughest words to date against the Saudi-funded firm. Tiger Woods made it clear that he disapproves of individuals who choose to participate in the LIV Golf Invitational Series, saying that he believes Commissioner Greg Norman has harmed the sport, and that the players that moved have abandoned the things that have helped them advance. In his remarks following a 9-hole practice round at the Old Course ahead of the 150th British Open, Tiger Woods delved deeply into the matter, criticizing the 54-hole format, speculating on world ranking points, and arguing that guaranteed money would reduce the desire to compete. Tiger Woods claimed he didn't comprehend it. 2 of the 8 tournaments in this year's LIV Golf Invitational Series, which debuted in June, have already been played. Many well-known golfers, including major champions Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, and Sergio Garcia, have signed on and received sizable guaranteed contracts, as well as the opportunity to compete for payouts of $25 million. Later, he was pressed for more information. Then Woods remarked that he's aware of what the PGA Tour represents, what they've accomplished, and what the tour has given the players, namely, the chance to pursue their careers, the opportunity to earn what they receive, the opportunity to compete for trophies, and the history that's been a part of the game. He said he was aware that Greg attempted to do it in the early 1990s, and is now attempting to make it work because it didn't work before. Tiger Woods is not still sure how that benefits the game the most, what the PGA Tour and European Tour stand for, what they've accomplished, and how all professional golfers, the game's regulatory bodies, and big tournaments are managed. They might have a different perspective than Greg has, I believe, but Woods disagreed. He believed that what they did was turn away from what had put them in their current position. He inquired if anyone knew what would happen to world ranking points, which are currently a prerequisite for major competitions. The governing body would have to figure it out, he continued. Many of the players who have transferred to LIV in the past, like Johnson, DeChambeau, and Reed, are acquainted with Woods. The official World Golf Ranking Organization has received LIV Golf's formal request to collect world ranking points for its events. Woods remarked on the board's portrayal of major championships and the other international tours. It's still up for debate how that scenario will be handled, especially in light of certain clear conflicts of interest. If LIV Golf can't find a way to fit its calendar within the Asian Tour, which sanctions it, the 54-hole events and the lack of a cut appear to be a problem. Furthermore, the process takes time. This year, no resolution is anticipated. The issue for LIV golfers who aren't earning points is that, unless they have strong weeks at a major championship, they'll gradually fall in the global rankings. For now, entry into the Masters and Open is guaranteed for the top 50 players in the world. For the top 60 in the world, there are 2 cutoffs for the US Open, although there are no explicit requirements for world rankings in the PGA Championship. Every player in the top 100 who's otherwise ineligible is usually included in the field. According to Woods, some of these athletes might never have the opportunity to compete in major competitions. That's a potential outcome. We're not yet certain about that. All of the major championship organizations are responsible for deciding that. However, it's possible that some golfers will never, ever have the opportunity to compete in a major event, or even just take a stroll through Augusta National's fairways. He just doesn't comprehend that, to be honest. He could appreciate what Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer did because I'm aware of the differences between playing professional golf on the tour and as a club pro. I can also appreciate the transition they made and their acknowledgement of these differences. Woods was making reference to the PGA of America's 1968 split, which Palmer and Nicklaus assisted in orchestrating. All professional golfers were governed at the time by the PGA of America. The PGA Tour was eventually established as a result of touring professionals' desire to have their own voice and division, which is distinct from the PGA of America, which continues to oversee U.S. club pros and manages the PGA Championship and the Ryder Cup. Woods stated that what is the incentive to practice when these players are doing it for guaranteed money? What would be the point of working hard in the mud? Simply put, they're playing in a few events and playing 54 holes while receiving a sizable advance payment. He could see how 54 holes is almost like a must when you go to the senior tour. The men are slightly older and a little more battered. However, 72-hole tests are a part of it. Given the fact that they're young, they truly are youngsters who have transitioned from amateur golf into that organization. Major championship playoffs used to be 36 holes. The US Open playoffs used to be an 18-hole event. A player said that it would be sad to see some of the young players never get the chance to experience what they got the chance to experience and walk these hallowed grounds and play in these championships. He just doesn't see how that move is positive in the long term for a lot of the players, especially if the LIV organization doesn't get world ranking points and major championships change their criteria for entering the events. There you have it. The reason Tiger Woods feels disappointed with players joining LIV Golf. Do you think Greg Norman's actions are really not in the game's best interest? Let us know in the comments section below. Kindly like this video and subscribe to our channel for related news. Thanks for watching. Bye.